Hello, it's noon on a Friday, TGIF as they say. Well, on today's show, I'll be speaking to engineer Dr. WONG LOONG from the Department of Irrigation and Drainage in conjunction with World Rivers Day, which falls on the 25th of September. That's this weekend on Sunday. But just before that, Professor Dr. KULANTHAYAN, Executive Director of Safe Kids Malaysia from UPM, talks about a safe walk to school. I'm Jessy Chahal, right here in Kuala Lumpur. You're watching The Brief on Bernama TV. Begin the news in brief with this. All eyes will be on High Court Judge Datuk Muhammad Yazid Mustafa this morning for his decision on whether to free or order Datuk Seri Zahid Hamidi to enter his defence on 40 corruption charges in connection with the foreign visa system. Well, here's the latest update we've just received. The High Court has acquitted the former Deputy Minister of all 40 graft charges. Prime Minister is currently in New York to join other world leaders from more than 150 countries at the 77th session of the United Nations General Assembly, or UNGA. The Prime Minister will deliver Malaysia's national statement at the general debate on Friday in Bahasa Malaysia. On Friday, he meets with Palestinian President for the signing of 4 MOUs or Memorandums of Understanding on the establishment of a joint committee meeting, as well as on the cooperation in the field of health, tourism and Islamic affairs. In other news, Malaysia's experience in dealing with COVID needs to be institutionalized to ensure that the Ministry of Health and the country are both ready should another pandemic emerge in the future. Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin says the experiences in handling procedures during the pandemic could be used as a useful guide for officers at the ministry in the future. Meanwhile, KJ says he's confident the Control of Tobacco Product and Smoking Bill 2022, which will be tabled at Dewan Rakyat next month, will receive the support of the majority in Parliament. The bill is still being reviewed and studied by the Parliamentary Select Committee, and so far discussions are proceeding smoothly with committee members studying the proposed amendments. And the government say it is optimistic of achieving the target of zero hardcore poverty by the end of 2025 with new integrated and holistic approaches in implementing the pilot projects towards increasing their income. This is made possible through a good working relationship between the government and all stakeholders in the country. Today we take a quick look at safety for children, and today's topic, a safe walk to school. My guest is none other than the Executive Director of Safe Kids Malaysia, Professor Dr. KULANTHAYAN KC Money. Prof, welcome to our conversation today. It's good to speak to you. Such an important topic as well, with road traffic accidents happening more and more. It is more rampant these days. What is the status of road crash in the country at this point?
Right, thanks. If we will look at the road crash statistics for last year, 2021, the number of road crash recorded were 370,286. It means every 86 seconds, we have one reported road crash in the country. That's one. And the effect from this is we lost almost 4,539 lives last year, which means every 2 hours, one life is lost on the road.
Wow. When you put it in that perspective, every 86 seconds an accident occurs, and the amount of lives that have been lost. Now, what are the 6 main types of limitations you see for children on the road, given the dangerous obstacles that we have in terms of safety for children?
Yeah. For children, they have many limitations, but the core 6 limitations are the first one in terms of vision, where for children, their vision is only 1/3 of a vision for an adult. Say, example, as an adult, I can see at 180 degrees. A child can only see within 60 degrees. So therefore, if there is a vehicle, say at a point of 100 degrees, the child won't be able to see yet. Until that vehicle falls within the 60 degrees, then only the child can see. So we can't blame the child, why you didn't see the vehicle coming. No, that is their limitation. And by the time when the child can see within 60 degrees, it might be too late because the vehicle is very close to the child. That's first. Second, if we see is in terms of hearing. The child can hear the sound level of the vehicle, but then they don't know in which direction the vehicle is coming. So if I put a child in a junction, the child can know there is an approaching vehicle, but whether the vehicle is coming from the right or left, they won't know. So a misjudgment can be a risky for a child. The third one, if we see, a child, when they see a vehicle, they think that the vehicle has also seen them. But this is a misjudgment as well, because for a child, they can see vehicles because the vehicle size is big. But for a vehicle driver, say if a bus driver or lorry driver, in their windscreen, there are many things to be seen. Okay, and along that, the object of a child is very small and there is a chance that we may miss it out. The fourth one, the limitation for a child is, when they see a vehicle, say on the left-hand side, they are not sure whether this is a moving vehicle or a static vehicle. So if they misjudge thinking that it's a static vehicle and they make their move towards the road, and that if that vehicle is moving, then that's the risk. And the fifth one, if we see, is in terms of judgment of speed. Okay, so the judgment of speed is the kid thinks if they have seen the vehicle, they can stop immediately as a pedestrian, which is true. As a pedestrian, we can stop immediately. But for a vehicle, in an emergency situation, when we press the brake, the vehicle will not stop there immediately. The vehicle needs some space and time in order to get the vehicle stopped. Example, if a vehicle is driving at a 50 km per hour, if I see a child in front of me and I press my emergency brake, my vehicle will need 27 meters to get stopped. And if my speed is high at 80 km per hour, and I need 57 meters to stop. So this is the limitations that we have here.
But Prof, we are looking at these from the kids' perspective. But what about educating vehicle drivers or riders to be more vigilant, to be more aware, and to practice safe driving on the roads, preempt the situation, defensive driving, so to say?
Yeah, I fully agree with you, because the concept of road safety is it is a joint responsibility by everyone to make sure everyone are safe on the same road system that we are sharing with. So the messages for the children is there, the messages for the drivers is also there. That saying to them, hey, look here, that children are vulnerable. Okay, it is our duty to make sure that we reduce our vehicle speed in order to make sure we are safe, and at the same time, everyone else whom are sharing the roadway is also safe. Along that line, maybe I can highlight here is, and in the school zones, as long as any roads surrounding the school zones, every vehicle's responsibility is to reduce their speed to up to 30 km per hour only maximum. Okay, because why 30 km per hour? Because as a pedestrian, as a child or anyone outside the school, as a pedestrian, I can only absorb maximum transfer of energy up to 30 km per hour. Any transfer of energy above 30 km per hour can be a fatal crash.
Prof, very important notes here for us to be reminded of and practice as we use roads and highways, and especially as we are nearby schools as well. Thank you for reminding us, and we will speak to you again. Well, it's time for me to take a quick break, but when I come back, I'll be speaking to Engineer Dr. Wong Chee Loong, Senior Principal Assistant Director, Department of Irrigation at JPS, in conjunction with World Rivers Day. That comes on right after this break.
Saya tercari-cari tempat letak kereta. Puas cari tak jumpa-jumpa. Saya tengok jam. Alamak, dah lambat. Barang bini tak beli lagi. Lepas tu, cantik. Ada kosong. Saya keluar, saya kunci pintu, terus masuk pasar raya. Saya pergi rak cari sarden, santan, buah. Yang lain tak sempat, lalu saya keluar. Buka pintu kereta, pasang tali pinggang keledar, betulkan cermin belakang, baru nak start enjin. Sekali nampak abang. Saya buka pintu. Alamak.
Macam itulah cerita saya. Saya minta maaf ya.
Sekarang awak dengar cerita saya pula.
Tadi saya pun dari dalam. Lepas tu saya dapat mesej mak saya tenat. Saya pun nak cepat. Saya tak boleh masuk kereta. Macam mana saya nak masuk? Kereta awak halang pintu saya.
Saya minta maaf sekali lagi ya.
Kenapa? Perkara beginilah yang menyebabkan kami OKU tidak berupaya.
Welcome back. In business, according to a dealer, the ringgit opened marginally lower against the US dollar on Friday due to the lack of buying momentum, as demand for the greenback remained strong due to its safe haven status. At 9 a.m., the local currency fell to 4 ringgit 56 cent against the greenback from yesterday's close. At the share market, Bursa Malaysia opened marginally lower today, tracking the Wall Street, which slipped for the third consecutive trading day as central banks' rate hikes continued to weigh on sentiment. At 9:05 a.m., the benchmark FBM KLCI inched down to 0.96 of a point to 1438.20 from Thursday's close of 1439.16. And briefly, gold is 237 ringgit 65 cent per gram. That's up 43 cent from yesterday. And in other news, communications and multimedia industry has contributed 8.2% of Bursa Malaysia's market capital just last year, in which 2.8% is a 2.8% increase from the year 2020. According to Communications and Multimedia Minister, in the 2021 Industry Performance Report issued by MCMC recently, the C&M sector has remained competitive throughout last year, despite COVID. And briefly, in international business, Hungary has seen the sharpest increase in bread prices among the countries in European Union due to inflation and in the advent of the Russia-Ukraine crisis, according to Eurostat. Bakers in Budapest say that it's not just the Ukraine crisis that's responsible for the price rise. The cost of raw materials needed to make their products has shot up since last year, forcing them to pass the cost on to customers. On our feature today, we talk about World Rivers Day, taking place on the 4th Sunday of September this year. That falls on the 25th of September. That's this weekend on Sunday. Well, joining me via Skype right now is engineer Dr. Wong Chee Loong of JPS. Thank you, Wong, for being with us. Let's look at our topic today, of course, World Rivers Day. What activities are carried out by JPS in conjunction with this day?
Hi, Jessy. We have plenty of activities organized by JPS in conjunction with the World River Days, include fun run, water rafting, fishing, hiking, jungle trekking, treasure hunt, and so on. And this involves a level of ages, and also involve the 16 states of JPS in the whole country.
Right, lots of activities here, and of course this happens nationwide as well. But how does JPS foster awareness for the importance of preserving water resources, with so many things now at the forefront in terms of, crisis to address water consumption or saving water and climate change and so on and so forth? How does JPS foster this awareness amongst the public?
Yes, for your information, JPS is established since 1932 and is the leading agencies in water resources engineering and river basins management in the country. Besides, JPS is also focusing providing non-structural measures to provide the water resources through public awareness program. Over the years, we have known that we have Cintailah Sungai Kita campaign. As time goes by, actually JPS studied and understand the needs of the communities, and we have introduced concept of public approach, or what we name it as a community engagement public awareness, CEPA. And this is to ensure that we have this physical development project, we also conduct this river conservation program to increase sense of responsibilities towards the river. Through this approach, the ownership of the river and importance of the river as the source of the water and among the nature treasure can be fostered in the community ways of life. So, for example, JPS has implemented a public outreach program, which is a non-structured component under the River of Life program. And the main objective is to increase the awareness of the certain target groups about the River of Life project and the sense of responsibility to preserve our rivers. So this is a long process of promoting sense of ownership towards the river and initiating long-term sustainable change in the behavior towards preserving the river.
Well, this year's theme is waterways in our communities. Why was this theme chosen? What is its significance and why is it so important?
All right. World River Days is celebrating the world's waterways. The themes of the river similar to the last 2 years, which is waterways in our communities. And this themes was chosen mainly to emphasize the inclusivity and the involvement of the local communities for taking care of our rivers. And river, as we know, is generally embodied of many different values to different people. For example, river symbolize connections and since touch, and there are everybody principles living in this downstream. So river also symbolize the human health, and another value embodied in the river is that habitat. So highlighting the importance of protecting freshwater ecosystem for fish and wildlife, both in the river itself and along its bank. So this is a very important part of the relationship between humans and rivers.
Right, so, it is of course important to take care of our rivers and our seas, but, we're reading more and more in terms of health awareness as well. Many articles which talk about the dangers of eating contaminated seafood or any sort of sea or fishes or any kind of life form from the river because these can cause chronic diseases as well. How do you view this perspective?
Yes, while the advantages and benefits of the rivers to communities is clear, where what we fail to see sometimes is that throughout the river course, human activities may have negative impacts on the river. Particular significant is the water pollution that is caused by the household, trade, industries, activities, solid waste, chemicals, grey water, and so on, which affecting the quality of the river and impact the use for the drinking and as a habitat for the animals and plants. So by drinking the pollutants water exposed to the people to specific water contaminants could lead to certain waterborne diseases. And this illness, which include waterborne diseases, are caused by the pathogens or other viruses, bacteria, protozoa. So of this, of course, the sickness will arise from the toxin and produce some harmful to the human body. Yeah, this is true.
Dr. Wong, I want to thank you very much for joining us and highlighting World Rivers Days. Of course, millions of people in more than 100 countries participate in World Rivers Days. And of course, all of us here in Malaysia as well, taking part to ensure that our seas and of course our rivers, most importantly, are well taken care of. Doctor, we'll speak to you again. Well, I'm off to a quick break right now. When I come back, I'll take you around the globe on what's happening the world over. The international up next.
Pusat Kehidupan Berdikari atau Independent Living Centre ILC menyediakan perkhidmatan sokongan untuk membantu OKU agar dapat hidup berdikari di dalam masyarakat. ILC membantu OKU menerusi perkhidmatan pembantu peribadi seperti membantu OKU mengurus diri, membawa OKU ke hospital atau pasaraya. Jom kita. Jom. Perkhidmatan kaunseling rakan pembimbing oleh OKU kepada OKU seperti memberikan suntikan motivasi, memupuk keyakinan diri dan perkongsian masalah. Tidak lupa juga program hidup berdikari yang bertujuan untuk memberi semangat kepada OKU dan keluarga OKU untuk berdikari dan menyesuaikan diri di dalam masyarakat. OKU yang ingin mendapatkan perkhidmatan ILC boleh menghubungi ILC berkenaan.
Sila layari laman web www.jkm.gov.my.
Welcome back. We begin our international news with this. Parts of northern and eastern India have reported a spike in cases of dengue fever after a season of heavy monsoon rains created favourable conditions for mosquitoes to breed. Uttarakhand state is in northern India and it's registered a total of 657 cases on Wednesday, while the Odisha state in the east reported close to 4,000 dengue cases as of Tuesday. In Kolkata, the number of children infected by dengue has doubled in a matter of weeks and hospital wards are starting to fill up with patients. The US Ronald Reagan and ships from its accompanying strike force arrived at a naval base in Busan today to join South Korean ships in a military show of force aimed at what officials say is a message to North Korea. The visit, the first in 4 years, also marks the most significant deployment yet under a new push to have more US nuclear-capable or strategic assets operate in the area to deter Pyongyang. Joe Biden and his Philippine counterpart Ferdinand Marcos held their first face-to-face talk yesterday with tensions in the South China Sea high on their agenda. The two leaders met on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly. Marcos, the son of late Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos, took power in June. The Philippines is a key ally in the US and is vital strategically in case of any US need to defend Taiwan from Chinese attack, given its geographical position. In the meantime, the Vice President of South Sudan expressed confidence that a peaceful, fair and credible election will be held in 2025 in the young country, while speaking during the United Nations General Assembly. After decades of conflict, South Sudan gained independence from Sudan in 2011. Like other African nations, including Ethiopia and Somalia, South Sudanese face starvation this year as the global food crisis worsens. In an interview after a recent visit to Pakistan, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres stressed that developed countries need to cash in on their promise on climate actions. He's pointed out that almost nobody has done enough in mitigating climate change. Guterres added that rich industrial countries having a historical responsibility for many decades in the past, a time where they were the main emitters. And yesterday, at least 7 people died and 1 was injured in El Salvador after rains triggered landslides. The Environment and Natural Resources Minister says this year's rainfall rates had surpassed the average, reaching to 1,751 millimeters. The Civil Protection Unit maintains an orange alert in 29 coastal areas of the country and a yellow alert throughout the territory as rains continue to affect the country. Here's a quick peek on what's trending nationally on Twitter today. Hashtag Sultan Nazrin is trending. People are amazed with his speech and advice about corruption in Malaysia. Here's an excerpt from his speech yesterday, and I quote, "Therefore," he says, "we cannot take it lightly, be complacent and choose to be in denial, conceiving all kinds of justification in order to deny the existence of the corruption elephant that is vividly clear happening in front of our eyes," unquote. Tuanku, thanks for the much needed highlight and reminder on this issue. It's evident that Malaysia has heard your call based on the activity on social media. Well, that's a wrap for now. Before I let you go, catch The Nation this week. That comes on at 3 p.m. Later today, Elaine Noor speaks to Dr. Sharifah Fatima from International Islamic University, Malaysia, and Izzaz Azhar, Managing Director of 7W Associates. They discuss trending topics this week. That includes human trafficking syndicates and tackling the abuse of the elderly. Have a nice weekend. I'm Jessy Chahal. Thanks for watching.
Saya Sebasra, anak lelaki Apala Sami. Saya pemandu lori. Masalah saya, pendapatan sini kurang. Dari situ saya nak ambil loan pun tak dapat.